grew up in St. Louis County. I grew up in St. Louis County.
Gray show, my daughter was like, "You wearing that shirt on air?" I sure am, because it's my positive energy work shirt. And so I always want to shout out Daniel Davis, Positive Energy Gear, and he's an amazing producer from Kansas City. Um, as y'all can see, I'm coming to y'all live again from my car because my dog likes to yell, and she ain't like Lilo. My dog is bad. I just became the most horrible parent and grandparent since my older kids got grown. But anyway, I am welcoming you to the Lyne't Gray Show here on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom, Kansas City's first global community radio station, and now internet radio station. You most likely are listening to me on Facebook. But hey, just in case we have an outage on Facebook and Instagram like we did, y'all go on over to YouTube and the TuneIn app and Periscope, all live stream, all KUAW shows. So I mean, hey, if even if you're not watching the Lyne't Gray Show, you're watching another show, you can get a live stream show. You do not have to only go through Facebook. And the beautiful thing is KUAW has its own webpage, kuaw.org. And they live stream there as well. Now on the webpage, and I'm pretty sure on all of the social media pages, you have the opportunity to give. And we are moving into a new studio come soon, so we'll be back in our studio setting. Your generous donations keep the Lyne't Gray Show and all of our other amazing programming on air. We stay on air because of your generous gifts and generous donations. Hold on for a second. I'm about to pull my car up just a little bit because I have to. But yeah, this is the wonders of Zoom radio. You get to do weird stuff. But anyway, so today I want to address some things. Let's first talk about how someone from the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department searched up the Kansas City, Missouri Mayor Quentin Lucas. And the fact that there are so many people on his social media page who feel that it's okay, and they are justifying it because one man, as he's saying, Quentin Lucas has gotten wealthy and he wears designer suits and he graduated from a high school that a lot of wealthy white people graduated from, and he's Ivy League educated, that he does not qualify as an oppressed Black man. When people understand that he was not given that position and those positions that he achieved, he wasn't given it like many of the people who he went to school with. Their parents' money bought it. And so therefore his parents' money cannot buy his protection from the police department. When you are intimidated by the very people who are sworn to protect not just you, but an entire city, I think that's oppression. We had to realize that we had our police chief, he's now our sheriff, and I don't want to bring his name into this, so y'all know who I'm talking about, because I was about to say his name, but I'm not going to do that. He had to teach his wife and daughters how to shoot a weapon because of the threats that he got as police chief. And so now people want me to believe that there is no threat to our mayor and he's perfectly safe and he's not oppressed because of his education. Um, I call hogwash, I call BS, I call all of that on this. Regardless, he was searched because he's a Black man. His information was accessed via the KCPD. You are so bold in your hate for Black people that you would search for this man on your job. On your job. Come on now, y'all. Y'all can't tell me that that has nothing to do. And another thing we're going to stop doing is we're going to stop calling Black folks racist, because we don't own nothing to oppress nobody. Now, you might use the word racist in Africa, because everywhere you look, there's a bunch of Black Africans. They run Africa. But here, you cannot call a Black person racist. We cannot oppress anything. And I just want to say that at some point in time, this has to be confronted. I don't care. He was my councilman, and I'm not a fan of his work in my district. But what I'm not going to do is sit here and ignore the fact that he was targeted because of his skin color. That's what we're not going to do. We're not going to play like his skin color didn't have anything to do with it. We're not going to play like he's not an oppressed man, because if you throw him in a hoodie and some big jeans and some Jordans and put chains around his neck and a ball cap on his head, nobody will know that that's Mayor Quentin Lucas. He will be treated like any other Black man out here on the streets. You take him and put him in a Chiefs hoodie with a Chiefs hat, or a Royals hoodie with a Royals hat, and a pair of jeans and some Jordans or some Pumas or any of that. You don't even have to put the gold chains on his neck. And you put him in another city, will they look at him and say, oh, that's Quentin Lucas, the Black mayor? No, they won't. So his accomplishments mean nothing when he's encountering racism. That's what I want to address at the beginning of this show, because people want to call Black people racist, but Black people in the US, we cannot be racist. Racism is systematic oppression. The systematic oppression began long ago with slavery. And yes, they let Black people through, but we got to fight and be better, honey. I am the mother, the proud mother of an Ivy League graduate who graduated #1 from Columbia University, TCU, in 2019. And I know how hard my daughter has fought to get there and how hard she's fought since then. And her fight started in high school when they wanted a certain person to be valedictorian because it looks good. So they stole it from her. So you cannot tell me that just because a person has made certain accomplishments, they are not oppressed. As Black people, we are oppressed. Look at the numbers when it comes to the union. Look at the numbers when it comes to, I mean, professors will simply just give you a bad grade because they don't like Black people. What you gonna do about it? So that's what I'm gonna address on that. And now that I have addressed that, I want to say kudos to Gigi Jones for the Vegan Veg Fest that took place this Saturday at Swope Park. And it was for vegans and vegetarians and raw foodists. And I want to say Blissful Soul Kitchen, and they changed the name of it, but I know it as Wild Card Entertainment. Marquand Gordon and Rebecca Oakman. Blissful Soul Kitchen. They were ranting and raving about her burger. So you all need to look it up. Blissful, BLISSF, as in Frank, UL. Soul, SOUL Kitchen, KITCHEN, and run it all together and put a hashtag in front of it, and you will find all the posts and all the ways to access her food. She's amazing. She's one of my students, and I'm so happy to see her just like flourish and start moving. And she got an amazing shout out, y'all. She got a shout out from one of the top alternative meat producers, plant-based. It's not meat, it's plant-based, like meat. You know, it's not meat. You know how people want burgers and they want fake chicken because they're converting the plant-based, but they don't want to eat the meat. They shouted her out on her page. And I am so happy for her. So congratulations. Y'all, Dapper Dan got a job, y'all. Quick Trip hiring. If your child wants to work, tell them to go to Quick Trip, tell them to go to Home Depot, all of them places. They are hiring our young people, and it's a beautiful thing. Also, they had it today. I forgot to announce it last week, but Congressman, I done spoke that thing again. It's going to happen. Councilman Brandon Ellington's job fair happened today. And I forgot to tell people about it last week because Councilman Ellington's job fair, you get hired on the spot from amazing companies and plenty of union companies as well. I forgot to mention it last week. My apologies, y'all. Charge it to my head and not my heart. Because I want more people to attend his job fairs because there are amazing jobs and you get hired on the spot. A lot of these job fairs you go to, they take your application, tell you they'll call you back. Councilman Ellington's job fairs, you get hired on the spot. So I advise everyone to go to his job fairs because you'll walk away with a job. And it's not, he's not calling in these little bit of companies. And these are felon friendly companies. And he's not calling in companies that ain't gonna pay you no money. He's calling in companies that pay good money to come in, and they are unknown about being felon friendly. And so his job fair is open to everyone, but it is an encouraging thing to tell felons you can go to that job fair. So if you missed it this year, I think he should be having another one coming up in spring. Not sure. But I do know that when I was hired, I went to one that was in the summer, and I started the day after Labor Day of 2018. So you might want to look into that as well. Also, parents who are complaining that your children are having problems with the ACT and SAT, look up schools that do not require ACT and SAT grades. They are liberal arts schools 9 times out of 10. You want to give your child that opportunity. It's okay that they don't score as well. Some people just don't test well, but there are colleges and universities that do offer admissions without the ACT and SAT score. One thing I will say is some of your more highly educated and highly successful people start out in community college. When you talk to people about the community colleges that they've gone to, you'll be blown away to know there's doctors, lawyers, financiers, Ivy League graduates, Ivy League top of the class graduates who've gone to community college, and community college prepared them for college and university. And also can, if you do it right in community college, you can get all of your 4-year paid for. So parents, and also here's another thing, y'all. Y'all know I'm big on trades. I'm a tradesman. I'm a truck driver. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. Don't forget to turn your children to trades. Y'all know plumbers and electricals. I think welders make like $80 an hour. Like, that's sick money. I had a man come and do my furnace, and he told me that the HVAC guys make like $65 to $70 an hour. You know, plumbers make 60. I know for a fact that laborers make anywhere between $30 and $60 an hour. And people who drive the heavy equipment make $60 an hour. So, I mean, even if your child is not academic, they can come straight out of school, join an apprenticeship through the union, get paid to learn a trade. That's a beautiful thing. The airport right now, I'm just coming at y'all with a lot of information that I've been forgetting to announce. The airport right now is hiring and they are needing diversity. And they even have set up for daycare and for a bus line to go directly out there. That's how bad they want diversity and women and young Black people and other quote unquote minorities to join and become a part of the building of the airport. And I think they said it is you get, we got 3 more years, I think they said, at the airport. Because I mean, we've been rolling and working, but still. Um, Hi, Miss Walker, how are you? And George Fuller, I'm about to read the comments right now. Jorge Fuller, Fuller for the People, LLC, Fuller for the People at gmail.com said, oh, you're on the Zoom? Is George on the Zoom? Oh, there he is. Okay, he popped up. He said, start at community college, get your gen eds out the way, get a trade that the industry is still making 6 figures, go to university and get your bachelor's. Absolutely, Jorge. Jorge just gave y'all the and he is truly education. He is uh administrative part. He worked his way up from the classroom and he's now in the administrative in recruiting teachers and other administrative people for a certain district. So when he tells you how to do school, you should listen. You know, you ain't gotta listen to me. I got a good enough diploma. I got GED, good enough diploma. But he is a highly educated man and he's got his master's and he knows how to do it effectively, cost effectively, and how for you to be successful. There's no reason why we should not be successful. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to George for Dos Minutos with Jorge. Go ahead and give it to us, son.
Well, thank you. This Dos Minutos, I'm gonna tell you all, I just got out of a session on redistricting within the Kansas City area. Kansas City, the city lines for our council members are getting redrawn. I'm telling you that because I want to make sure you have that understanding. If you are a Kansas City resident, your boundaries does not change. You will still be a Kansas City resident when they finish redistricting. What will change is your council spot. So maybe if you're in the 5th district, you may switch into the 6th, and the 6th district may switch into the 5th because they're trying to make sure that it is compressed and connected. They want the people to be able to know who's representing them and ensure that diversity is actually being attained and is reflected on the city council. To my Latinx sisters and brothers, I'm saying Latinx, and I know I am going to honor you because it's Hispanic Heritage Month. It is a general term made by someone that wasn't fully agreed upon by everyone, but I'm trying to be politically correct. For those individuals, we need your representation. The issues that you go through, the opportunities that are missed, the challenges that you face, we need you to be sitting in on these local elections because they're the ones that have the authority to impact your day-to-day life. And if you don't know that, if you feel unsure, you don't know how to go a part of it, reach out to me at Jorge Fuller for the People on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you can email me at fullerforthepeople@gmail.com. My website is coming soon. It is still under construction. I'm loving what it looks like. I gave the tip last week, so you got to understand I'm working on it myself. So I got to take my time and pace it because I'm still doing community things. But that is just 2 minutes of just saying redistricting is happening. It's not something to be scared of. It is not something to run away from. It is something to get fully aware of because not only is it happening at the city level, it is happening at the state level as well. And that impacts your House of Rep and your Senate seats, those people that represent you and make those decisions that way as well. So I'm just giving you a heads up because those changes are going to happen, is going to take effect by the end of this year based off of what was done in our census in 2020. So I'm just saying this because it seems really quick. Normally it happens 9 months after they release the information from the census, but it got compacted because of course COVID happened and it took a little longer to get the census completed, but it's still happening. We have dedicated individuals that are unpaid, volunteering their time, creating different avenues for you to engage. There is going to be, watch Channel 2 or go to the KCMO YouTube page. There's information there, as well as you can go to kcmo.gov and just search redistricting, and they'll put that information up there. It is all public knowledge and publicly there. Put your input in, because if you don't say something, I literally asked on the behalf of Crossgates, because that's where I live. Will this impact? Will you be moving the dividing line? Because I know Crossgates is in both Grandview and Kansas City. So if you move the dividing line north, I will be a Grandview resident rather than being a Kansas City resident. And that truly impacts if I wanted to stay a Kansas City resident. And I got that question answered thoroughly, and I'm giving you the answer. So if you're a Kansas City resident at the beginning of the process, you'll be a Kansas City resident at the end. And so I'm just saying that that's just a quick Dos Minutos with Jorge Fuller. Once again, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. On all of the platforms, Jorge Fuller for the People, as well as you can email me at fullerforthepeople@gmail.com if you got questions or concerns. I would love to connect and build you up, because I am truly trying to say Fuller for the People LLC is going to make sure everyone that is near and dear can grow and have that opportunity to move forward. Hashtag Fuller for the People.
All righty. Thank you, son. Thank you, Jorge. Fuller for the People at gmail.com. Hashtag Fuller for the People. Very easy to remember. Hashtag Fuller for the People. You should be able to find them. I want to shout out who I call Kansas City's hidden figure. And what I mean by hidden figure is, you know how the on hidden figure, is that a spider in my car? Oh, it's on the outside. Okay. Y'all was about to see a whole scene. Okay, it's on the outside of my car, so we good. Let's continue. But Tammy Buckner, happy birthday to Tammy. She's Kansas City's hidden figure. She is an IT, she is a STEAM, not just STEM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math genius. And she does some amazing things for our young people. And she's been recognized by Apple and Microsoft and all of that. But she does not get the recognition that I feel that she deserves. And she's so busy that she really can't come on the show. But she puts together platforms and things to help young people, just like the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and just like A STEAM Village does. So we want to recognize Tammy. Happy birthday to you. Hopefully, and I am thankful for your amazingly beautiful, prosperous year to come. We thank you for all you do. Now, we have, I'm not gonna mention that right now because I just got some really good news, like literally just now, but I'm going to leave that for that person to announce. And they was like, announce it on your show. They literally just asked me to. I'm going to have them come on the show and announce it because this is some like amazing news for Kansas City. Kansas City is doing a thing, y'all. Kansas City is really, really doing a thing. Now, one of the things I want to discuss is y'all driving down the price of freight and trucking. Because everybody and their grandma want to get in trucking and don't know what you're doing. And then you complain that you can't keep drivers. Well, ain't nobody gonna drive for free, but y'all don't know how to price this freight. This is something that someone was just messaging me about because they're asking me questions. You have to know how to price the freight. Just because it's on the freight board at a certain amount, you can negotiate that freight and get it up higher to where you can pay. You start with the salary that you're going to pay the person. And don't say truck drivers don't need all that money. And then you turn around, you don't need all that money. It's your company. You the one trying to get people to drive for you. Y'all gonna hear me get on my soapbox here because trucking has taken good care of my family. Trucking has made sure that I didn't fall. And if I couldn't pay my bills and I couldn't feed my children, because at some point in time, when it comes to the state, you're not going to get any help, even if you are a single parent, because they're going to say you make too much money. So therefore, y'all trucks are going to sit. Because when they don't work for if I can't afford to work for you, I'm not going to work for you. And I've been teaching my truck drivers, stop working for people that you cannot afford to work for them. That doesn't even make sense. That you get up, you go to work, you make sure they get their items and their business keeps running, and then you take a loss. At the end of the day, you're taking a loss. We're not talking about your gambling habits. We're not talking about your crack or your meth or your weed habits or your alcoholism habits. Because I promise y'all, quit playing with these trucks. Because half these people driving these trucks are high or drunk. I promise y'all, because they not getting paid enough money. They not. So what I'm saying is, for those who are getting into the trucking industry, know your cent per mile. How much are you willing? And this is what I always ask every owner, and the owners who are not willing to do it become combative. I say, are you willing to go do exactly what your truck driver's doing? Are you willing to go get that CDL and run that run for a month to a month and a half, to where you know everything that they're going to go through, and they can't pull the wool over your eyes and tell you they're going through more? You'll know who to talk to, where the rest areas are, where to stop, who sends the load out late, who working that shift that always, you will know all that. When I say that to many owners, many of the owners get combative because they can't do what we do. They don't want to do what we do. They don't want to leave at 8 o'clock at night and still be working clean till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. They don't want to do that. So first things first, owners, I will say this: if you're not paying your people at least $30 an hour for every hour they are on the clock, then you ain't gonna get no good driver. You might as well get you some specialized insurance to cover these folks that do a little bit of sniffing and sipping. I'm just letting you know that this is as real as it's gonna get. I'm 25 years in the game. I can tell you how it goes. So we literally, we be like, oh, them drug head prices or them alcoholic prices, them people who can't get a job because they got too many DUIs, so they'll take anything to keep their family fed prices. If you are paying a driver anything under $30 an hour and you're not even offering insurance, do y'all know how expensive it is to purchase health insurance? We're not even talking life. We're just talking health insurance. It's over $500 a month for one person. Over $550 for one person. That's not counting if they have a family to insure. So I'm going to be on my soapbox about trucking. Y'all running this freight in the ground. Y'all charging too little. And it's simply just calling the transportation manager and saying, hey, we've run this several times. We need some more money. They have up to $8 a mile to pay you. But anything that they're not paying you is their bonus. It goes in their pocket. So they're going to hold on to it. You can negotiate, or you can decide you just ain't going to take the freight. Stop expecting people to work for you at a loss. Truck drivers, stop getting out here and working at a loss and then complaining, and then, trucking ain't for me, and then trying to tell everybody else not to truck. Trucking been for me for 25 years. And it's for a lot of people, but you need to know what is your value. Somebody recently was like, now I'll drive a box truck for like $20 an hour. I will. Them little bitty things, that's like driving a van. Okay. But somebody recently offered me $22 an hour to drive a Class A vehicle. And I told them, I think I look a little bit too fat to be smoking that new stuff that didn't hit the street. So I don't know, but I really need for us to take this trucking thing serious. And the reason why I'm on this soapbox, because I was driving today and I looked over and I watched a man take a sniff behind the wheel at the light. And he was driving a Class A vehicle and he put it up. So if we want to be able to hire better drivers, we have to be able to pay more. We have to be able to say, okay, this is how it works. When you can afford to hire better drivers, you can afford to drug and alcohol test your drivers truly at random. You can afford to pull hair instead of just urine tests. So that's me being off of my soapbox. I just want people to be safe, because that was kind of scary. So I was just like, I'm gonna fall back. That's another thing. You see a truck driver driving unsafe, don't get in front of him. Fall back. Let him get way ahead of you. Let him do what he do up there. to where you see it and it's gonna be so far away by the time whatever he doing, you won't even catch up to him. So um that's literally what I wanted to address about trucking. But we have so many young people out here who we've seen graduate high school who may not be the college type, y'all. And I'm back on my thing about, literally trades, or getting into like Ford, or I'm pretty sure like, because businesses still wire up. So I'm pretty sure AT&T still hires because they still wire up. I'm pretty sure the dish networks and the cable networks and the utility company. Let's start. We have to after a while say this is what we want to do for our children. This is what we want to do for our young people. This is the direction we want to push them in. And you have to start showing them. Even if they work for Ford. I have two uncles who retired from Ford, and they lived really good lives. One uncle retired from Ford and bought a Benz. Like, where they do that at? I guess he's been waiting.
Can I jump in for a second?
Go ahead.
So let me give y'all a tip, and a lot of your school systems have this program. It's called Career Technical Education, it's CTE. Those programs have real world learning and real world certifications. For example, KCK is working, and I'm loving Joe Macklin. He is working on creating a production certification. When those students that go through his program, they graduate high school with that, as well as the certification as an audio engineer and a producer. So that's, a CTE right there. I know for KCPS, they have a CTE program where you have engineering happening, as well as auto mechanic, as well as just culinary arts. That is something that happens all over the high school districts. You also can check in and tap into those, getting that associates after a while they're in high school. That last 2 years of high school, we have that opportunity where students, if they're making a certain GPA, completing classes, they can get dual enrollment, meaning that they can be enrolled in a community college as well as a high school. They spend half their day at the high school and the other half of their day at the community college, and then they're earning their associates, so they can graduate high school with their associate's degree as well as their high school diploma. So you're walking out basically shaving off 2 years. 2 years. And for teachers, most school systems in the state of Missouri, I'm going to say this, most school systems have a grow your own program. Grow your own means that you, as a high school student, have the opportunity to start learning the craft and trade of teaching while in high school. And that will support you reducing some of those college hours you need in getting your degree or certification to teach. So those are plenty of opportunities where you are getting that skills training as well as your education while in high school, which helps reduce your debt when it goes to college. Because I want to tell you, no matter if you have a full ride or not, everybody has student loans. It always gets you, and no matter if you have the degree or not, everybody has student loans. And if you are trying to completely negate student loans, you need high scholarships. And when I mean high scholarships, I'm talking about Gates Millennium or Bright Futures. And Bright Futures come at the cost of having a 30 or plus in the ACT. And then you have basically full rides for whatever college that you want to go to. Gates Millennium, the application takes you a whole month to complete. But if you achieve it, you get a 10-year scholarship. And I'm talking 10 years. That means you can actually get your doctoral degree off of that scholarship. And those are two heavy hitting scholarships that have been around, that have continued to be around. I know people that have gotten it. They're also Rhodes Scholars as well. That is just the opportunity that you have present. So if you are looking for those opportunities, talk to your high school counselors. Those guidance counselors should know if they are worth their weight. They will know about those scholarships. They will know about those programs. You should be able to reach out to any high school counselor in this area and find out for yourself as a parent advocating for your student these opportunities for them. So that's career technical education, where they can earn some certifications as well as leaving out with their education at the same time. The dual enrollment process, where they can be dually enrolled in both college courses and their high school courses and graduate with an AA when they leave high school, right outside. Like literally, one of my mentees, he graduated 2 weeks later. He graduated from MCC, and now all he had to do was go take 2 years of his life was shaved off because he was able to do 2 years and getting his undergrad. And he's still he's a brilliant student. So those are opportunities right there in hand. If you don't know about that, the other one I would say is, and this is the one that really hurts, is those dual credit classes. You have to pass a test. And I think I heard when I jumped in, we were talking about ACT. Dual credit classes, you got to pass the test for those too. And it's not an easy test.
You have to pass the test for AP. Dual
That's what
credit
it is.
is actually credit. Dual credit, you don't, you of course, it's just like going to college, you got to pass your finals. But AP is where you take the classes in high school, in your high school building. And then in order to get credit for the classes, your AP courses, you have to take an exam before the college will give you credit for it. So that course is not easy to pass the exam. The AP course, your kids will feel like, and they can be geniuses, and they'll feel like they wasted all their time in high school and didn't get the credit because they can't. The AP test is almost impossible to pass. It can be passed with studying, with preparation, but it's really hard to pass. Now, here's the secret behind dual credit. You want to make sure that your child is getting an associate's degree with their dual credit, because like my children who took dual credit, in order to get their scholarships, they had to just go on ahead and wipe out all that dual credit and say, okay, I'm starting over as a freshman, because they had qualified for scholarships that was a whole lot of money that they couldn't get with. My daughter was technically a college junior when she started college her freshman year. But in order for her to get that money, she had to say, okay, wipe out all, I think it was like 30 something credits, y'all. It was a lot of credits. She had to say, I'm not going to take none of that I did in high school. Go on ahead and enroll me as a freshman, as a starting out new freshman. So that's what you want to look at with dual credit. Make sure, and see, I didn't know how it worked because I had a good enough diploma. So I didn't know that you make sure that she gets an associate's degree. You make sure that she goes through that program instead of just doing those 2 years and putting in all of that hard work, going to class after school, because you're literally going to college. Now they've assigned, they allow some schools that hire college professors as high school teachers. They allow them to be certified as dual credit because they're already a college professor. And then they're going into the high school and they're teaching high school students. So it's easier for them to be certified for dual credit. And so they allow them to teach a dual credit class in high school. But when my daughter was in school, she graduated 2011, that was not the case. And so she had to just let go of all of those credits. So when they do dual credit, make sure that they're coming out with a certificate or a degree. You do not want to waste that time. AP is where you want to make sure if they're putting your child in AP classes, that you get your child also, you make sure that you keep them up to date during the summertime, to where when they go in, they can pass that AP exam and they get credit for it on their college credits. Another thing that, I got a good enough diploma, and we know, we learn the shortcuts to everything. There's this thing called the KUAW test. The C as in Charles, L as in Larry, E as in elephant, P as in Paul. If you're going into college, look up the college that you're going to, the college or university, and then search the KUAW test options. Or you can go to the CLEP website and type in your college and see what courses taking the KUAW test allows you to test out of that course and save yourself thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, because some colleges now are up to like $350 to $400 a credit hour. So, and some are even more than that. So, but you go in and you take that CLEP test, and like my son Sebastian, you know, if he didn't, that's space, I gotta tell y'all about him too. But anyway, if he didn't already pass all of his exams, I mean all of his finals for his English, I would have had him CLEP out of his English, because he's an English like genius. He edited his sister's Ivy League final, and she got a high A on it. He edited an Ivy League, what do they call it? It's not just a final, it's called a capstone. Her capstone paper for Ivy League. And she got a high A on it. Now, granted, she did all the writing, but he went in and did the editing and put in suggestions. And so that right there, and he was only a junior when he did that. So, and he's even greater now. So let's just go on ahead. And I want to say this. Sometimes I had a talk with a dear friend. I love you. We stayed up to almost 2 o'clock in the morning talking. And our children go through things. When I tell y'all, and I put it in writing so many times on my Facebook page, when my daddy died, I wasn't sugar honey iced tea. I promise y'all that. I wasn't. And that's what crushed me, was because my daddy died knowing I was a whole decided on purpose nothing. It's not like I didn't have the opportunities to make something myself, but it was the decisions that I made that put me in a position. And then I tell parents, life is long. And so your child may not be doing what other people's children are doing. Your child may not be, while I'm out getting pregnant and having kids and unmarried, other girls were going to college. They were building lives. They were doing things that people smiled on, while whenever I walked around, they frown up and say, well, you need to quit having kids. But you never count a child out, because regardless, they're still living life and they're still growing. And some of the people that were looked at as better than me, their parents, I literally had 3 of the women, and they might see this, and I'm going to jog their memory a little bit. They dogged me out, talked about me like a dog. And now that I'm Lyne't, that everybody seems to know, you know, girl, and she ain't done that. She done got with this, and then, yeah, she was in college, but, you know, yeah, she ain't done nothing with that degree. And, oh, but you the same person that was talking about me, and now you want to down your daughter to me because you're comparing her to me. Let's stop that. Let's stop that. Every person has their growth. Every person, you wouldn't compare her to my mugshot from 2018. You ain't gonna say that I'm better than her when you pull up my mugshot that Jackson County got of me, both of them, not just one. So we got to stop that. At some point in time, we have to be willing to speak life, and we have to be willing to tell our young people life is long, no matter what. And I tell my kids this, I'll be like, look, I don't care what nobody say. Life is long. And y'all can think that life ain't long if you want to. But when you start hitting 45 and you like, dang, I'm still living. I still got to work. I still got to pay bills. I still got to do this. I said, you realize, dang, I should have started this in my teens and my 20s and my 30s. I should have focused on my career, because then I can be chilling and relaxing and just enjoying life. And like Mr. Walker said, when I told him I wanted to be at the studio at 8, he said, that's a bit early for me. He told me that 2018. I don't come to the studio that early, because he's put in his time, and he can retire and enjoy life and sleep in late if he wants to. You know, that life is long, y'all. And so that's why this week has been a week of me encouraging a lot of people. It's like I couldn't even focus on me because of the encouraging that I've been doing with a lot of people. And to my sis, who we are grateful for our children's healing. We are grateful that our children, just because they go through a bad spell, that's not their life and they don't give up. We're grateful for that. Now, I want to shout out Death Spade. Death Spade, aka Sebastian Smith. That is my son. Y'all saw it on the Lene Gray show first when they begged me to get them a Nintendo Switch because they wanted to play Smash Bros. They just simply wanted a Switch to play Smash Bros. Well, they would sit in front of the video game all day. And they wasn't even playing Smash Bros. They was playing whatever system we had here. And I got mad one day and I went in and this is what I say about my kids. I have learned to watch what I say to them because they will make it happen. So one day I was like, I'm sick of y'all. All y'all do is on these video games. Y'all done found a way to play video games on your phone. So I was like, if y'all don't learn how to monetize this thing, because y'all got me paying all these bills, now you just sit in video games. I literally told them, because I was having a bad day at work, I said, I'm going to take your systems outside and smash them in the street and run over them with my car. So my son looked at me and was like, first off, she wigging out for no reason. Second off, let's do this. They literally, February of 2020 was their first time entering to a competition. Big up to Death Spade. I'm going to put it on my page. Death Spade unseated number 8. Number 8 in the Smash community. He was ranked, it was 1,001 entrants to the tournament, and they call it a super mega because it had over 1,000 entrants in Texas this past couple of weeks. And he went down there, and they actually have video of him on YouTube. And I got to see my son, like I saw him in action before they shut down COVID when he was in Kansas. And he did the 0 death combo and the place went crazy. But I got to see him sit there and confidently play a man that even the announcers were rooting for. I have a saying for him, cool TF is Death Spade, because that's what everybody says when they see they have to face him. And so they seated him real low in the competition. And he sat down amongst this man who was supposed to come out number 8. And not only did he unseat this man, but they have what they call the PGR players. PGR players are players who get paid. That man was a PGR player. There's only 60 of them in the world. They are your top players, and they get paid to go beat people down at tournaments. He went in and he ran the gamut on them 2-0, y'all. He ran, it was best of 3. That man didn't take a life from him. That man didn't, he didn't pull a game off of him. And they're like, oh my God. And he's sitting there with his little fur, his checkerboard fur coat I bought him because he's a really reserved kid. And so I was like, I'm gonna put mama flair on him. And I bought that coat for him, I think in like 2017 or 2018 or something for the winter. And he got it for Christmas. And he wore that coat down there. And the announcers were, just being a bit pretentious towards them. They were just, because, people always ride for the well-known person. And he went in there, and I want to give him mad credit because by the time it was over with, the announcer said, I don't know who this Death Spade guy is, but I'm a fan. So I'm saying this to mom. What did he say? Smash.gg. If the moms and the dads, if your children are good at video games, go to smash.gg and find the tournaments and tell them, if you don't enter tournaments, I'm not going to let you play. Because they were not supposed to, but they're my children. I was supposed to scare them into not wanting to do tournaments and, just not being on the video game as much. That was the goal of the thing. But they're like, oh, you want us to get in tournaments? We're going to get in them and win. So That's what I want for you all to do. And the beautiful thing about the Death Spade clip that's going up on my page, and I'll put the link to the Death Spade clip in this video as well. All four of the men on camera are Black men, young Black men. All four. The two announcers and the two players are young Black men. And when you see what it was electric, and it was an amazing scene. So we got to start encouraging our children in that. If you got a kid who don't want to work, because when they get done with these weeklies, they play, I forgot what they call it, but they bet each other. It's like betting on pool and stuff. So they can come home with, he was like, after he won that one, and he came in number 2 twice and 3 times in a row here in Kansas City. And after he did that, he walks around and he looks for people to play. Even at the one where I broadcast live from, where Dapper Dan would sleep on the couch, he was walking around looking for people to play. And he throws his money on the table. He's like $50. $50 I win. You know, so your kids can, I mean, I know it's gambling, but I mean, hey.
Well, technically, esports is the fastest growing industry. There are scholarships, full ride scholarships in universities now. So if you don't think it's a valid or validated or a solidified pathway, it is. And these gaming companies actually are purchasing people to become those testers. And that's always been a profession where you could do as a top gamer. You become a tester of the newest stuff, and they actually use your critiques to change what they have going through. So I'm gonna tell you, esports is the stuff. In Kansas City, we have the first ever esports bar over in KCK. Shout out to Will. He may not see this, but when he does, he know I shout him out.
Tag
He's
them
the owner, and
in
it's
the
black owned.
comments later. Yeah.
So it's Black owned, and he's the owner. It's the first one. We have another one that's a mobile gaming spot that happens to be coming around to different spots. I cannot remember his name, but I probably will see him at the Village KC Friends of the Village Gala weekend, because he probably will be there. So I'm just saying, esports is not something to take lightly,
Esports,
people.
and when I tell y'all, MU's got a good team. Nebraska Lincoln has a good team. He got up to Nebraska Lincoln too late when they already had their team formed, and it was COVID. So even though they were like, yeah, we'll take you, but it was COVID, so nobody's doing anything. Um, like he said, your kid can now get a scholarship to college, and even if they choose not to do that, they can become a PGR player and get, that's his goal, is to PGR ranking. Because even as a PR player, he's got amazing ranking. He's even got a sponsorship right now where they'll pay for certain things. He said on November 14th, he will be in California on my birthday. So I told him, I said, you got to show out, son. You going from my birthday to a super major, you got to show out. You got to show out. And they don't know who Death Spade is, but they about to learn today. That I kept on say, all right. They gonna learn today, and I'm excited, y'all. It's just like, oh, congratulations to Dapper Dan. He was nominated for Homecoming Prince, even though he didn't win, and he ran a really tough cross country event. I mean, who likes to run, y'all? I mean, I guess I'm too fat for that, because all my kids like to run. I'm like, where y'all get this running bone? That's what I'm trying to figure out. But shout out to him and all the young people who did amazing at the Kearney, Missouri, at that one. Y'all made me tired just watching. Y'all did a great job. I needed that when y'all was done. But this is the Lyne't Gray Show. George, please put the information for the Village KC events, and when the show comes back on, put it in the comment section so that people can see and know, because I will be broadcasting live. Mr. Walker, this time we got extra notification for you, because I don't think I gave Mr. Walker enough notice the last time. So he's gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna make sure that George, please email Mr. Walker the dates so we can broadcast on KUAW and everything. But I want to thank y'all. I want to wish everybody joy, love, peace, happiness, health, wealth, well-being, total enlightenment, prosperity, success, affluence, abundance, and a whole lot of money to you. This is the Lyne't Gray Show with Fuller for the People at gmail.com, hashtag Fuller for the People, Jorge Fuller, here on KUAW, Kansas City's Internet Radio, Kansas City's Global Community Radio. We will see y'all later. Take care. See y'all next Tuesday.